Franklin,
Can
what's
you-
your mic check?
Okay.
You can hear him purring.
Okay, we love you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ride Home Podcast. My name is Abby.
Hey guys, it's Caitlin.
I am so sorry if you are a Transformers person out there. We are not Transformers people. I think I saw the first one. It was fine. The first one was good. I love the Transformers ride at Universal.
You do.
Like, love it.
I do not.
You just squeezed your eyes shut the entire
I had my
ride.
eyes closed the entire time.
Do you remember, though, when it broke mid-ride and they let us go through a second time and you were just like, I don't want to do this.
Get off. Like, I'm not going to do it again. Like, I can't do it.
Did you get off?
Yeah.
And then you waited for us?
They let me get off. Yeah.
I really thought I was going to get, like, severely motion sick on, like, a 3D ride like that. I was fine. I loved it.
Yeah.
I want to ride that ride every day for the rest of my life.
No.
You'll pass.
I'm all set.
I like how we're talking like we just went to Universal. We went to Universal like 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, 2 years ago. Whatever. It's still fresh.
Whatever. So, needless to say, we did not end up going to the theater this week because the new release was Transformers. We decided to do an at-home review of a movie that both of us have really been wanting to check out.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, we wanted to check it out because Sydney Sweeney's in it.
We
And
love Sydney Sweeney.
We are Euphoria people.
Mm-hmm.
You made me become
I
a
made
Euphoria.
you a Euphoria person.
I'm still disturbed by like half of the stuff that I've seen in Euphoria. Like, I can't believe that show was even made. But it is addictive. It's like a train wreck that you can't look away from.
Yeah. It's kind of like you form a trauma bond.
Yeah.
Like with the characters almost.
It's a
lot. It's intense.
I'm still stressed out about whether or not Rue is going to pay back that woman
And
for the suitcase of drugs.
And we have to wait until like 2030 to find out what happens.
They're all going to be like 45 years old by the time they actually film this.
They're stressing me out. The whole reason I made you watch Euphoria in the first place is because it was really too much for me to process by myself. So I needed you to also watch it so that we could process it together. And now here we are waiting 3 years to find out what the hell happens to Rue. It's too much.
It's too much.
Fix it, HBO. I'm sorry. Fix it, Max.
Ew.
I'm sorry. It's HBO.
Yeah. Max is the worst name, period.
Yeah.
Also, the new app is kind of ugly.
The app is ugly.
They need to
Reconsider
reflect on their choices.
all of their choices.
Yeah. So this movie is on Max, produced by HBO Films, and it is called Reality, and it is based on a true life story. And not only is it based on a true life story, the words are ripped out of true life. Like, it's from a transcript, which is pretty crazy. So it was directed by first-time director and screenwriter Tina Satter, who actually wrote the play that this is based on, which was called Is This a Room? And this is her first time directing a film, and it's basically just an adaptation of that play.
Sure.
And that play is an adaptation of an FBI transcript. Very cool idea.
It is.
Do you want to read the synopsis real quick?
Sure. A former American intelligence specialist is given the longest sentence for the unauthorized release of government information to the media about Russian interference in the 2016 United States elections via an email operation.
It stars Sydney Sweeney as Reality, who is the main character. And it also stars Josh Hamilton and Marchant Davis as kind of the lead FBI agents. Because this is based on a true story that we already know the outcome of, and the synopsis just there tells you that she is found guilty and serves a sentence for releasing these documents. There is no need to do a spoiler, non-spoiler section.
Sure.
So
the spoiler is she went to jail.
Yeah. So the spoiler is she did it.
Yeah.
And I think the knowledge that she did it actually does change the way you watch it a lot, because you are watching somebody kind of figure out their story in real time. And it's just a very interesting way to do a movie, because before I ask your opinion, I'm just going to say this does not really go in the chronological order of she finds the document and then she takes it and then she sends it. This is literally just her being interviewed at her house by 2 FBI agents while a search warrant is being done on her home. And it's basically real time. So yeah. Very cool idea. Very original. You were the one who found this movie, and you were the one that really wanted to watch this. So I'm going to ask you first, as always, how did you like Reality?
I think I agree with you. It's like a very original concept. And I think we both, when it started and there was like the slate that it was like the original transcript of the FBI interview, we both were like, oh.
We literally at the same time went, huh.
Yeah.
It was like this this choreographed, huh.
So I think that is really cool, because basically like it's not scripted. I mean, the script is an actual conversation that happened. That in and of itself like might be the first time that's ever been done, question mark.
I have not seen anything like it.
And it's not even really, I mean, it's an adaptation as far as the acting goes.
Right.
But the words, they just used the actual conversation of what happened with her and these FBI agents, which is kind of cool. There were parts of it that I felt dragged a little bit. But overall, I thought it was a really interesting film. I thought it was really cool. I thought the best part about it was Sydney Sweeney's performance. I will say, I don't know that it's what I was expecting it to be. So that might be why I'm not like...
You were a little thrown off by the...
I didn't know it was going to be like just their conversation. Like I thought it was going to be more about like what happened. And, I mean, they did. You found out, you know, as it went on, what she actually did and how she did it and when she did it and all of that.
Right.
But I thought it was going to be like more focused on that and less focused on like just this one interview with the FBI.
Right.
So I felt like I got a little bit bored with it at points because of that. Just because the momentum wasn't really there, I felt, as far as watching a movie. But other than that, I really liked it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it is based in reality. And so... life doesn't move in the beats of a script, and life doesn't move in 3 acts. And so having it just be this straight dialogue ripped from the pages of a transcript is a really huge challenge for the director to build a natural 3-act movie. It's very difficult. And I think what she did was she broke it up into beats by section, where it was like outside the home, inside the back room. And so she kind of broke it up based on location, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there were plot points that broke it up. It was just kind of the way they moved through the home that changed. And so I do agree that there were scenes that felt like they dragged a little bit, or there were scenes that felt unnecessary. But then I would remind myself like, oh, well, this is a transcript, so this like actually happened. And that's kind of cool if you think about it. I completely agree with you that Sydney Sweeney was by far the best part. I think she was spectacular. And I don't know what reality winner who is the... What a name for a person.
What an interesting name.
This woman's parents named her Reality Lee Winner. What a name.
What a name.
But I don't know what her voice is like. I don't know if she acts the way that Sydney Sweeney acts. So I can't comment on whether or not she like embodied this woman. For what she gave us, it was a very dynamic performance, and it was very layered, which I was impressed with because the script is so
dry.
Yeah, it's dry, but it's also, you know, we're not getting backstory. We don't have that typical information that we would get about a character. But I thought what was really interesting was just her delivery of the script, the way she emphasized certain things, the way she backed off during certain moments. You could really get a sense of who this person was without having all of that backstory. You know, we get the little pieces of like, she does CrossFit and she's a yoga instructor and she hates Fox News. And, you know, so we get within the script little hints of who she is. But I think Sydney Sweeney really pulled the character together and built this human being that we kind of like fully understand in an hour and 23 minutes, which I thought was really impressive.
Yeah. I mean, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that the director did that was really helpful that she probably could not have done in the play was having like flashbacks. Those parts were like the most exciting parts to me because the flashbacks were all the moments leading up to what she did and kind of showing us how she did it and what that looked like. And I thought that was really interesting. And that is something that you really can only do in a film. Like you wouldn't I can't see how that would translate in a play. So I think using those moments was also really helpful to kind of break it up. Even like having the dialogue sort of like voiced over some of those moments was cool.
Right.
Just because basically she used this transcript to tell us the entire story from beginning to end of what she did, what happened to her, and how she got convicted and went to jail.
Yeah. It's really crazy. And I also think the script being a direct transcript also made me forgive certain issues, I guess I would say, like some certain, either some moments, some beats, some weird lines that people would say. And I was like, wait a second, this is what they actually said. And so I was able to forgive the screenwriting a little bit because it really isn't screenwriting. It seemed like they tried to match tone pretty,
I think
like
so,
specifically too. And I have to say, if that one older white FBI agent is really like that in real life, he is fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Did you get like weird like sexual energy from him?
Yes. Saying like kind of suggestive things to her, like in a weird way.
And like the spacing like between the two, which you know for a fact, like if they had the recording, you could probably hear when they got pretty close to her because the recording was on him, I believe, the white guy.
He had it on him.
Can we look up what the detectives' names are so we're not saying the white guy,
the white guy and the black guy? Agent Garrick and Agent Taylor.
So Garrick, old white guy, Taylor, younger black guy. Okay. The recording device, I believe, was on Garrick. And so it would be interesting to hear the full recording because I'm sure you would get a sense of the spacing between them. But he got like really awkwardly close to reality. And I was like, dude, you are a freak. And it was interesting because it actually, within the transcript and even like the direction of the movie, the relationship between Garrick and Taylor is that Taylor also thinks Garrick is weird.
Oh, 100%.
Like 1,000%. It's just like, dude, you are really fucking weird.
We get that because he gives like some knowing looks to reality a few times.
Like, he's
like,
weird,
because he'll say stuff or like he'll cough or just like say
Yeah.
weird things, and like he would look at reality just kind of like, yeah, this fucking guy.
Going back to it being a transcript, there were some things that I wished they kind of took out, even though I understand that like it's a really original idea to do a full transcript. But the fact that Garrick has a sinus infection and so he's coughing the whole time was so unnecessary that it really kind of jarred me every time he would do it. I was like, why is he coughing? And I would try to analyze the cough, and then I would think for a split second, and he's just coughing because he coughed in real life. Whereas in a regular movie, you would only put a character coughing for a very specific reason.
Right.
Like a character wouldn't just cough every 5 minutes because you wouldn't put that
because of audio and editing purposes. Like it just wouldn't happen.
It just wouldn't happen. So there were things that I was like, I was torn as to whether or not I liked the way that it was so pure to the transcript. And I think the cough was like a really good example of that, where I was just like, it added nothing to the story. And he just like offside was just like, oh, sorry, I have a sinus infection, which in real life you would say that. In real life you'd just be like, sorry, like I'm coughing so much, I have a sinus infection.
Right.
So it definitely did not play like your average film for sure. I will say what was really successful though was beyond Sydney Sweeney's performance. I thought the direction was really, really strong. And you can tell that she has a background in plays. It felt like they were moving around a stage almost. And when they end up in this back room, which is this empty room that reality has in her house, it really felt like you were in almost like a black box theater. It was just this cleared out space. There was nothing but a dog kennel in the entire room. And so really all you had was these 3 actors and the space that they take up. And the way she, you know, worked with the cinematographer and like placing the camera and the way she worked with the actors kind of pacing around the room and when they approach reality and when they back off and when reality sits down, and just all those moments I thought were really, really strong and really effectively built tension to the point that like I felt like I was being interviewed by the FBI.
Yeah.
Like I was like panicking for her.
No, same. I felt like my chest hurt like the entire time because I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like like for her to effectively build the tension like that is really masterful. And I think she took on a very challenging project.
Very difficult, yeah.
I mean, this is huge to take something like an FBI interview and turn it into a feature film. That's tough.
That's
really tough. And I think when you look at it like that, it's an A+.
Yeah.
Like it's really well done. But as far as if you just looked at this just as a film,
yeah.
I think there's a lot of issues with it.
If you're looking for a movie to tell you the full story of Reality Winner stealing the document, sending the document, being interviewed, being arrested, being on trial, and then being sentenced, you're not going to get it.
It's not this.
It's not this. And it was funny because right when the movie started, I knew that there were going to be like political twists and turns because it was like a espionage movie. And so I immediately put the subtitles on for you. And first of all, the subtitles on Max are absolutely hideous.
Ever since it's changed over to Max,
horrendous. And there's no way to decrease the size of them.
Disgusting.
We literally turned them on. Both of us screamed, no! And then turned them off again.
Yes. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I just have to pay attention.
I guess I have to pay attention. I know. I'm so sorry.
That was maybe part of the other struggle I had because I like actively was trying to really pay close attention, which I will say for a political drama, it wasn't too hard to follow.
Well, that's what I was going to say was that they don't really go that in depth with everything. And so basically all you really need to know about the story is that she took something and shared it. And it was classified. They don't even really talk that much about what was discovered in the documents. It's about Russia hacking into our 2016 election.
Russia somehow being involved.
And they were. And they found out in this document that they were involved. And so she basically was just like, the American people should know about this. And just on a whim, stuffed this document in her panties and mailed it to an online magazine.
Yeah.
She was real dumb. She sent it from her address.
Yeah.
She sent it from like the address. It was literally a mailbox next to the yoga studio she teaches at. And while they're interviewing her and they start giving her like little tidbits of information like, hey, we know this was mailed from Augusta, Georgia. And there are only like 3 people in the US that would have had access to this document. And you're one of them. And you're the only one that lives in Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah.
I was just like,
girly pop.
You're just admit
She
it.
just thought she was doing something good for America.
I know. And she was.
She did. Surely she knew she was going to get caught.
She had to have.
I think she knew.
I
think she really wasn't that careful.
No, she
like,
wasn't.
At all. And I think she didn't feel bad about it.
No.
Like she...
The best line in the entire thing was at the very end. And it was a newscaster saying...
It was actually, I think somebody from the FBI was on the news saying this. He said that she said... I hate America. And they said, you don't really mean that. And she said, no, I do.
What a queen.
Like, I don't think she felt remorseful at all.
Yeah.
But I do think it's interesting because if she thought she was going to get caught, this is all just conjecture because I really don't know how this was not portrayed in the movie.
Right.
If she thought she was going to get caught and if she did not have remorse, why did she do this whole song and dance?
She did.
About not doing it.
I think she just thought you couldn't prove that she was the one that mailed it. She's obviously very intelligent from like a language perspective. She knows like 4 languages. Like the reason why she has such high clearance was because she was a translator for like Middle Eastern languages, and her entire job was just translating Iranian documents. And because she was translating that stuff, she has like what didn't they say she has like one of the highest
clearances?
Yeah. And so she would just like occasionally kind of snoop around and see which like, I gotta be honest, if I had a high clearance, I would.
Hell yeah.
You know you would.
I'd be on that shit. The
Pulse,
my God, is that what it was called?
You are never allowed to have a clearance because you would snoop so bad.
I would read every document.
You would.
But the difference between me and reality is
aliens.
I wouldn't share that with anyone.
No.
Because I love secrets.
Yeah.
I love holding people's secrets for them. So I would just hold all of America's secrets in my heart, but I would definitely look them up.
Yeah. You would know if there were aliens.
100%.
Listen, though, I mean, I gotta admit, like, she is a very likable character. She has a really funny sense of humor. She's kind of a weird girl, you know?
It's kind of odd.
She's kind of an odd duck, and I think that's endearing, and it's really easy to root for her because... You know, you and I are obviously two liberal people, and we also hate Fox News, and we would like information like this to be public, and we are very pro the American people knowing what the fuck is actually going on. I think most people are.
Yeah,
it's just,
when you think about it.
When you actually think about it, I think both sides want to know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
So I think we found ourselves, or at least I know I did, kind of rooting for her. Like, I wanted her to get away with it, but like I knew she wasn't going to because I knew the outcome.
They already caught her before she even knew.
But what's interesting is that you could almost get a sense that the FBI agents themselves didn't really think it was that serious.
Yeah.
Like, they knew they had to investigate her, and they knew it was their job to arrest her, and they were excited to get that confession, basically. Like, at one point, Agent Garrick like makes eye contact with another FBI agent after her confession. He winks at him like, I got it. And so for them, you can tell that it's more about getting their job done more so than it is actually that they feel like this was something wrong to do.
I kind of agree.
You know
like,
what
it was
I mean?
just kind of like, okay, like we have to do this.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a sense of urgency, really. Like, it was not how you see interrogations portrayed usually on film and TV, where it's like, we know you did it. You have to tell us everything, and here's what we know. And they like lay all the shit out. Like, it was very casual.
It was casual, but it was tense in the way of, you knew she was digging a hole for herself every time she would try to lie. And so you were just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. How is she going to get out of this? How is she going to get out of this? Even after she confesses to this crime, which is like a federal offense, it's like a felony. It's like espionage.
It's literally espionage, yeah.
They have this whole joke scene, which happens obviously in real life, where Taylor and another FBI agent who's unnamed are in the room with her talking about how fat her cat is. And they're just like, oh my God, like, he's so fat, like, blah, blah, blah. And you can tell that they could care less about this.
Right.
Like, they're just like, yeah, whatever. Like, we kind of have to interview you and arrest you. Meanwhile, reality is fucking panicking.
She's like crying and like dying inside. She's like disassociating.
But it is funny though, because when they start joking with her about how fat her cat is, she like breaks out of it a little bit and starts like joking around. So it was very interesting seeing this whole thing play out from the perspective that these agents kind of seemed to like her. They didn't seem like they really thought what she did was like that horrible. Like they kept saying like, dude, like, you just made a mistake. Like you just, like, in the heat of the moment, you made a decision. It was bad. You know, we know you did it. And it wasn't like this, you betrayed the American people and like,
and you've like put all of our civilians at risk and like all of these things. Like, it's like,
take it that
we
seriously.
all already knew that Russia was involved,
right?
Okay, like, and she kind of said that, like, she was like,
y'all,
this has already been like contested back and forth on the news so many times. And she was like, I just wanted to be done hearing about it.
She was like, I was so sick of them always constantly talking about whether or not they did or didn't. And she was like, I just wanted to tell everybody, look, we already fucking know they did.
Yeah. And it's like, that's so relatable though, because I think we all have gotten to that point about
We're
so
sick
many
of it.
things
Yep.
in the media that it's just like, okay, literally just figure out which one it is
Yeah.
and tell us when you've got it figured out.
Right.
And I think most of America has just given up on watching the news at this point
Yeah.
because none of it is completely factual
Uh-huh.
or helpful or productive. And
Yeah.
it's just like, you know what? If I knew the answer to something that was constantly being argued back and forth
Yep.
on TV, I probably would send it out too.
Yeah.
Because I would just be like, enough is enough.
She kept saying over and over again, like, listen, like, I'm trying to get deployed. Like, I want to go back overseas. I want to keep my security clearance. She was like, I wasn't trying to do this, like, big act of espionage. Like, I wasn't trying to become a spy.
She even said, like, I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to be Snowden.
Yeah,
Like,
she was
Yeah.
like, I wasn't trying to be Snowden. And I think they realized that, like,
yeah,
both
they were like, we know.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, dude, like, we know you're not trying to be Snowden. And so it's just a really interesting case. And it was a really interesting watch, especially, again, knowing that it was reality, which, what a play on words. That's a better name than Is This a Room?
Definitely.
Like, way
much better name. Yeah.
Step up, Tina.
Yeah,
You did
way
great.
to go. Tina, you've come a long way
Tina.
since 2019
We're proud of
when
you,
you wrote
teen.
the play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go, girl.
All right. Well, what's your popcorn score?
It's a medium for
Medium.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just because there were parts of it, like we've said, that kind of struggled a little bit, but again, not at no fault of the directors.
Yeah.
I think just for her, what she accomplished as a director
Yeah.
and a writer, she gets a large popcorn.
Yeah.
And
she did
Sydney
great.
Sweeney gets a large popcorn.
Yep.
But the film as a whole, for me, is a medium.
I would also agree that it's a medium. There were some weird things that I wasn't necessarily super into. Like, the one thing I didn't mention is that anytime there was something redacted in the transcript, they would do this weird, like, computer glitch thing where, like, the person would glitch out and disappear. And it was a little, like, Spider-Verse-y.
It was a little gimmicky.
And it felt out of place.
I was going to say, it didn't fit with what was like
I
the whole
thought they
thing.
could have just done like an underwater muted,
Yeah.
you know, where like the
And
like,
maybe like they faded a little bit.
yeah,
Like maybe just like the focus went out a little
Yeah.
bit and like you couldn't quite make out what they were saying and then it
Yes.
came back. That would have made so much more sense.
the
of fit.
glitch was weird.
No.
It was like they were trying to make it high tech because she downloaded a document, but like it wasn't high tech. Like she printed something off at her desk and stuck it in her underwear. Like this isn't a
Yeah.
hacker.
No.
This is like she said, she's not Snowden.
She's not Snowden.
And so I did not like that. But overall, the direction was really good. The tension was built. It was really interesting. Again, Sydney Sweeney was really fun to watch. And it's a very solid medium for me.
Definitely.
I have to say, though, that the number one thing that I related to reality the most was during her entire investigation and interrogation, she was just focused on her animals. And I was like, girl, same. Like, if the FBI came to interview me, I'd be like, where's Franklin?
Yeah.
He's going to kill you all. Ella's going to bark at you.
Yes.
This isn't going to be good. Like, I was like 1,000% on her side with the animal
Yeah.
stuff. Because they kept going in and out. And she's like, can I put my cat up, please?
Yeah. She's like, can we please keep the door closed so my cat doesn't get away?
I know. And it was so sweet when she was like, are you guys going to arrest me? Because I really need to figure out what to do with my pets. And I was like, girl,
I know.
I would do the exact same
Me
thing.
too.
I was really thankful right at the end. I was like, man, I'm so glad I'll never get arrested for espionage. Because like, I would really miss my animals.
Things we'll never have to worry about.
Yeah, things will always
You know
be
what's
okay
so funny?
about.
I actually I didn't have the thought about espionage, but I was just like, wow, I'm so relieved that this will never happen to me. Like the FBI will never show up at my house.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling.
Huge relief. That does it for us. We are going to take a little bit of a break because Caitlin will be going out of town. This crazy summer situation happening.
It's a lot of, just summer activities.
Summer activities. But that's why we're releasing this Monday, because you'll be out of town this week and we won't be able to go. I'll probably catch a movie. Maybe I'll post a written review of something I see this weekend. I'll be by myself for 4 days.
Oh my God. We're scared.
I'm not going to be okay. It's all right. I'll make it through. I'll go to the movies. Maybe I'll post a little something.
There you go.
But our next actual episode will be June 23rd, and it will be a Friday. So we hope to see you then. Until then, have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on the ride home.